Hello, crafty friends. It's Andrea, and I am here with a really special layout today. I'm so excited. I'm kicking off a brand new collaboration with the creative design team, and we have some really exciting news. We have a brand new sketchbook just released, hot off the presses. This is our 12 by 12 volume 4 sketchbook, and I'm going to create a layout in minutes using this sketchbook. In addition, I love the sketchbook so much. I took it along to a crop yesterday. I decided that I wanted to play with it, and I was able to put together 2 other layouts that I'm going to bring in and show you those as well at the end. So stay tuned until the end, because you're going to get to see a couple other layouts made out of this sketchbook. And I had a hard time deciding which sketches to use because there were so many great sketches in this book. I can't wait to go through them all. I, of course, am going to scrapbook some photos of the creative design team, my friends here, and I, when we were in Vancouver last year. These are photos that I haven't scrapbooked yet. And this was, I think, our first night there. We went to Carlino restaurant in downtown Vancouver, and we had this wonderful, relaxing dinner together. So what better way to celebrate our new sketchbook than with some photos that celebrate us? And I can't tell you how fun it was to just pull from here. So let me show you. I used the same product for the original 2 layouts that I did, plus we'll be using again. This is our Memories in Bloom scrapbooking workshop, and in this you get directions to make these layouts, and it gives you cutting guides. So you'll see you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces of patterned paper. You don't get the entire pack of pattern paper, unfortunately. You do get the sticker sheet, and then you get a sheet of punch outs, which I love. Then you get 4 sheets of exclusive paper. You can see right here is one of them. You get a second one of those. You get all of this solid colored cardstock with the 2-tone. And then, as you see, this beautiful turquoisey paper here, you get 2 of those as well. So 2 right here and 2 of those. And so you get some different papers than you would in the normal paper pack. So that's what I worked with. Now, when I saw these, they were a little too busy. Maybe you can tell here, there's a couple different patterns going on. It was just too much, even though this had a pretty white background and it was subtle. And then here, it was a little too busy. Right here as well, I just didn't love the combination. I felt like the gray tones overwhelmed the flowers. Maybe it would have popped. I didn't give it a chance, but I went with white backgrounds, and that's what we're going to go with again here to scrapbook these photos. So let me show you what I had left of my layout. I had some snippets of, or at my workshop, I had some snippets of our cardstock. And then I had some stickers left over here. And you can see I've got some that are on foam tape because I was auditioning those with my 2 previous layouts. So we'll try to bring some of those in. I had a few scraps of our patterned paper. And boy, that green paper is really quite bold. I used this in a layout. I think you're going to like it along with the green. I have a few sheets of our solid colored cardstock here. And then I have a few more pieces that I wanted to bring in. So what I did was I started playing with these papers and just seeing what like kind of went together. And I think that Stampin' Up had, in one of their layouts, they had like these 2 patterns next to each other, and they do kind of go together, but it was just too much pattern. So I'm settling on, I think we're going to use these patterns right here. And with the layout that I have, the sketch, maybe I'll bring in a little bit of this pinky color back here. So if I can cut all my pieces out and I've got a little left over, you might see this. If not, I might have to dig into some solid colors. This is a sketch that I'm going to use right here. And I just want to show you the papers that I thought would work really well together. I definitely needed to bring in a floral element. This Memories in Bloom is all about the flowers. And I think it works really well with the flowers in the background here. And we'll have a touch of that. I do love the gray. I love the blue. It is, we can see some blue. It's a little bit of a different color, but it's kind of a neutral. So we're going to work with those. And like I said, bring in maybe a little bit of the pink. We'll see. Maybe a little of the yellow. I'm not sure which way we're going to go yet, but our sketch will, once we start cutting, I think it's going to work. Now, what I did was right here on the sketch, you'll notice we have a 4x6 and two 4x3 landscapes. What I did was I just opted to go with two 4x6 photos instead. So I've matted that up. And then on this side, you had a 4x4 and a 4x6. And I have gone ahead and matted those as well. They're supposed to be next to each other. And I didn't have enough cardstock to make one solid piece. So I just made two little photo mats and they'll just go next to each other on the right-hand page. The other thing that I've used, you'll see I've used it in one of the other layouts. There are some great titles, but I didn't need to use Mother's Day. I made the others work for the layouts that I did, but Mother's Day just doesn't make sense. So I have brought in my alphabet a la mode dies here, and I simply cut out the name of the restaurant, and that is going to be our title. I think that'll work well. I have also brought in some of our in color flat back pearls here, flat pearls, and I loved those because they went so well with the paper, as you can see. I'm going to cut the paper. And like I said, let's put this together. You're going to see how easy it is with the sketch. Now, all of our sketches, there are 21 unique sketches in this particular sketchbook. And so you get 42 pages if you wanted to do them single pages. Just so much. And they all come with measurements. You can always change them up a bit. They're a jumping off point, but I love that I can just go and cut the paper. And that's what makes this so quick and easy. My paper is all cut. I have labeled the back. You'll see that I put piece B, left side, C, left side, D, left side, etc. And I've done the same for our right-hand pages. So I'm just going to lay those down. Now, I was supposed to have two dovetailed pieces that were about the same size, but I just didn't have enough, but I found a thin strip. So we're going to make do. We're going to have the appropriate size up on the top and a smaller size that will make work down on the bottom. The first thing that I want to do is just start looking for my piece B. This is piece A. Piece B is this pretty blue piece right here, and I'm going to be sliding stuff in the back and on the top and bottom, so I just want to adhere this down right along one edge and one edge only, and I'm just following this sketch, and it looks to me that it's going to go somewhere about here. So this is my piece C, and I'm going to adhere that as well. I know that I'm going to tuck some things up here, down here. So I'm just going to put a couple lines across the middle, and that should hold it. Now, this one is fun because it's just a little bit tipsy, kind of like this, I would say. And we got just a little crossover down here at the bottom, just bumps out a little bit past our piece B. And then we put down D. So D isn't going to have very much tucked behind it up at the top, and it's going to have just a little down below. So we're just going to go ahead and leave the bottom open just a bit. And this one, this is what I love about the sketch. We've got a straight piece, a wonky piece, a straight piece, and this one is going to go somewhere about there, and it's going to go pretty much straight up and down, like the way that looks. So I'll just rub that down. Now we're going to use those little pieces of this pretty pink paper. This one is going to get tucked up here, and that looks about right. So I'm going to get that down. Now, I do want to try to make sure that we have this lined up as well as we can. So it looks like it's one big continuing piece, kind of like that. We're just going to see a little color down at the bottom. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to bring in a piece of paper because I don't have my ruler around me. So I'm just going to pick up the angle of this top piece. I'm going to put some adhesive on the back of here. I'm holding this yellow piece down, and I'm just going to go ahead and trying to work one-handed here. I'm just going to slide this up and under this blue piece. I'm going to line it up with the edge of the yellow, and then I've just kind of transferred the angle, and it all kind of works out. This gray piece should have slid under just a little bit more, So I'm going to see if I can't do that. I'm going to see if I can't gently lift this up and slide this in. And that looks like a pretty good arrangement to me. It might be a little off from the diagram because this piece was supposed to be up here and this piece was supposed to continue on. But you know what? It's good enough. And now what I can do is bring in our photo. So I've got the two photos. Like I said, I did two 4x6s instead of a 4x6. And two 4x3s. So I'm going to go ahead and get this adhered down. Again, you can put this just about anywhere that you want. I'm going to put mine about 3 inches down from the top. I think that'll be plenty of room to create our title down below. I'm going to go about a 1/2 inch in from the right hand edge. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and bring in our right hand page. So I'm just going to wiggle this one off and set it aside just a bit. And then we'll bring in the pieces. Rub that on. I've got a little adhesive on my Versamat that'll help me. And let's find piece B. Piece B is our first piece. That is the blue, and that is going to run pretty well up and down the page straight. So I'm just going to put some adhesive on it. It looks like it's just about equal distance from the top, the bottom, and in from the right side. So I'm going to go ahead and just commit to gluing that down right about there. And then I need piece C and then D. But you know what? I think I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put piece D down before C because I think that's just going to make it a little bit easier for me to slide the rest of the pieces into place. So I'm going to put this, oh, it looks like right about there would probably be okay. Let's put that up a little bit higher. It looks like it's closer to the top than to the bottom. And this one is pretty much straight up and down as well. And now we're going to begin those wonky pieces. So I am placing them differently. I don't know how you would get C down before D, but that's okay. I'm just following along with the guide and making adjustments as I need to. So this one is going to be offset just a bit, a little bit wonky. And then we've got 2 pieces left. Now, I think we need to put down our photos before we go ahead and glue these 2 little banner pieces into place. And I'm thinking I'm going to put them down about 4 inches from the top and make sure that from left to right, they look pretty even. That looks pretty good. I'm just going to rub those down. And now we can go ahead and put these pieces in. Now, this one I'm going to, let's see. I think I'm going to move this down just a bit because I can probably cover this up with some embellishment that I'm going to do here. So let me do that. So I'm going to move that down. Oh, about 1/4 inch from our photos. I think that might work. And then this one, I'm going to put, I don't think I can cover this up in the same manner. So this one, I'm just going to stick up here at the top. And it's going to be okay that it's a little bit different than the sketch. It's still going to work just beautifully. These pieces are straight this time where they were crooked the last time. The only crooked piece we had, the little wonky piece, is this floral piece. But I like the way that that looks. So now I'm going to just go ahead. I can take these off of the Versamat now if I'd like. I am going to create 3 little clusters of interest. One is going to go up here, one down here, one over here. And what I have for that is I have used the largest of our Spotlight on Nature dies. If you're not familiar with those, I'm going to bring those in to show you. These are a set of, well, 2 sets actually, of concentric circle dies. So I've picked one of the large ones here and I've cut that out twice. One I've got whole, 2 I've gotten half. So that is the die that I used. I like that fancy edge. And this one we're going to see the most of. So this one is going to get tucked up behind this photo mat here. So let me just slide that into place. And I'm going to put it about there. I like that placement. We have 2 more well, 2 halves in any case, that we're going to bring in as well. And the first one I know is going to go right down here, and we're going to try to cover up that gap in the banner where I pushed it down a bit. I think that's pretty good. This one, I'm going to just tuck up here. I'm going to keep that, you know what, I'm going to keep that over here just a bit. It's going to be, you're going to see less of it than you are of this one, but then that gives us that pretty pink that is going to pop through. And I like the way that that looks. So we've got our 3 landing zones for our fancy dies. Now I looked at the punch outs and the stickers that I had, and I made a choice. I just thought I'm going to bring in some of the punch outs here, and you'll see what I mean. The punch outs were just too oversized for our circles. I really wanted to use this. I thought it just really added to this layout. I looked at some others, and I had one of these, but then I didn't have anything else appropriate for these 2. So I was kind of stumped, and that's when I decided to bring in a set of dies, and this is what I came up with. I've decided to pull in my pretty floral stamp set and dies, and I'm not going to use the stamp set. I've decided to go with the dies, and I've cut several of these out. I have cut the biggest flower right here out of some of the solid colored cardstock that came with the kit, and I've cut some of the greenery out of this vibrant green as well to make, you know, the stems for some of the flowers and the leaves. So I've done that, but then I brought in some specialty paper because I really wanted to give this a little pop, to give each cluster something special. So I have used 2 products for this. The first, I have pulled in my flower garden foils. And isn't this a pretty kind of pinky red? And I just thought it works so well with the flowers here in the background with this paper as well, the patterned paper. And it just was, it was a rich color, and it worked well with the florals here on the background. So I've done a few flowers out of that. And I needed a little bit of purple too, because there's some purple here, and I wanted to play on the purple flowers. So I went ahead and pulled out Pastel, Ombre, Glimmer paper. And gosh, there's 3 different shades, or 3 different colors, and they have an ombre shading here. So I went ahead with this lavender into this more peachy color, cut a strip, and I've made some leaves out of here, and I'll show you how it all comes together. I have decided that for each of these I need a cluster, so I'm just gonna set this aside for a moment. So here is that plain solid colored cardstock, and here we go. This is that beautiful flower garden foil, and I've cut the inside. Now, I have taken just some pumpkin pie ink. If you have some Timid Tiger or something like that, and you wanted to add this same shading. Now, remember, you can add any shading and do any color, but I've decided just to go into the center a bit, and then I just want to edge just a tiny bit as well, so that these pop off the page. And that was pretty much all the shading I did to any of the flowers. So I have, like I said, I've cut 3, 1 for each cluster. And then all that I'm going to do is I'm going to adhere this down. So I just put a little adhesive on each of the little points and then in the center, and that is good enough to hold this on. And I just put that into place. I think that looks pretty good. You just hold it down for a second, and I have a beautiful bloom there. I have also decided that I was going to use that same foil, and I created the trio of flowers with just some solid green. So I've got 1 of those for each cluster. I also have just a bunch of leaves. And then last but not least, I use that Glimmer paper, the Pastel Ombre Glimmer, and I have cut just some leaves because I wanted that pop of purple, but yet I couldn't find another flower that worked. So I think this pop of purple, I've gone with a the darkest and the lightest, and I'm going to mix them a bit, but I think I'm going to put that into each cluster as well. So let me bring this back into focus for you and we'll build a cluster together. So I just love the bright combination of all of these flowers. I just felt like we needed a pop of vibrancy over here. So of course, you know that I'm going to need some foam tape. It's just a must. Put a piece on the back of this big yellow flower because after all, that is a statement. And I just want to go ahead and put one there. I think that'll look pretty good. I'm going to tuck these flowers up here. I like them. They kind of feel like buds because we've matched the foil paper. I feel like I need some greenery that kind of trails down. So let's go ahead and just glue that down as well. We'll glue this one down. Well, actually, I don't have to glue this one down too much because it's already caught the foam tape. I'm just going to glue that one flower down. That should be plenty. And then, like I said, I needed that perfect pop of purple. And you might notice that these flowers right here have different colors as well. So this was a great way to bring in a couple different shades of that lavender. And so I'm just going to tuck these in here and create it's almost like leaves, but it's just that pop of purple that I feel this cluster needs so much. And let me just get those in. So maybe one there. I think keeping them together is kind of cool because it mimics the different colors in the one flower. So let me tuck that in as well. And I have just built this perfect little floral cluster that I feel mimics this. And I just need to build two more. And then I also need a title. So let's look. Like I told you, the punch outs included 3 different punched out titles. And I've managed to use 2, which I will show you in those 2 layouts that I promised to show you. This one was Mother's Day and that just doesn't work. So like I said, I have used my alphabet a la mode and I'm going to go ahead and put Carlino down here and I will get that into place. I won't make you watch me glue these all in, but I think that that's going to be a great sized title that will work really well. So they're going to go something like this, if I can get these all out. Here we are. So Carlino, we need an I too. That is buried somewhere in my box of treasures. So I will find that I. I know it's here somewhere. Could I find that I in Carlino's? No, I couldn't. So before I put down the title here, I just wanted to add a little punch of color. So I've grabbed my Flirty Flamingo and just a brush, and I have just lightly gone ahead and laid down some of that color with the brush. I have lined up on my tabletop here, I've lined up the word Carlino's. So I decided if I was going to do it, instead of putting Carlino, I was going to put a Carlino's with an apostrophe S because that just sounded right to me. So I lined these all up on my desk and then I just ran some washi tape. I just laid that down on top so I could pick these up all in a row. And now I think that when I put some adhesive on the back and adhere this down right here, it's just going to work that much better. So I'm going to go ahead. Let me put some adhesive on the back and then we'll get this all glued down. Now I just need to put a little dot right there. And I don't know if this little piece, it was in the back of my set. It looks kind of like a heart to me. I just want to use that as an apostrophe. If it's meant to be a heart, it's still going to work as an apostrophe. It's okay. It just is a little pointy to look like an apostrophe to me. But you know what? It's good enough. So we'll get that on there and it'll work for the purposes. Even if it's not supposed to be, I'm making it that. So I like the way that that looks. I'm going to just let this title kind of glue itself down for a couple of moments before I lift off that washi tape ever so carefully. So now we have the little title. And I think that I was looking over the stickers. I didn't see anything I really wanted to use. I did have one punch out that said making memory, so I went ahead and ran some foam tape along here. And then I could put that down here, but I kind of liked it up on the photo itself just a tiny bit because we were making memories there. It was the first time that we were all together, and it was just so exciting. So we shared our first meal together. Now I'm going to bring in some of our in color flat pearls, like I promised, 2025, 2027 edition. You'll get a full sheet. I've got 2 different packs here that I've combined into one. And I'm just going to look and see. I do like the pink, but I'm kind of wanting to do something. I could do the yellow, but it's a little fluorescent-y under these lights. The orange might look great because the orange flowers, but I think I'm going to lean towards something unusual, and I think I'm going to use the cloud cover. And so let me just go ahead and take my tool, and we're going to use this to slide off. And I think I want to just make a little triangle right around each cluster here, if it's at all possible. Just pulling back the washi tape ever so gently. And you'll notice that I'm going to hold the letters, and I might rock the washi tape if need be from, top to bottom, wiggle it out here a bit. And hopefully our letters, by holding on to them, hopefully they're glued down enough, they've stayed in place. And let's take a look at the layout. Now, literally the hardest part of this was deciding which of the layout sketches out of the book I wanted to use. And then it was just simply picking out the patterned paper that went together. Again, I made some adjustments for the fact that I only was using scraps, because remember, I have those 2 layouts to show you still. But look at that cluster of flowers. The foil is just phenomenal. Look at this glimmer paper. It is just that little touch of sparkle I love, because this is textured. This gives it a different kind of a texture, a little sparkle where this is reflective. And then we just have some more subtle, solid colored cardstock here. The little pop of bling. I think that this cloud cover was the right choice. It just kind of blends in here. And of course, the little pink touch down here that we brushed in is just so sweet. Love the way this came together. And then let's pick up this side. Now these photos were a little darker, so it's okay though, because we've got some vibrant color here and lots of fabulous florals. And again, we've got that cloud cover pearls, and I think that the trio on each cluster just makes the whole thing pop. And what a sweet little layout to remember my first dinner with the girls out in Vancouver. Let me show you the other 2 layouts. Again, everything came from that kit, that scrapbooking workshop kit that I told you, except, the bling and then some of the specialty papers that I just wanted to bring in to give it a little bit more. Now, these layouts are layouts that I did out of the sketchbook once again, and I used photos from our Bouchard Gardens trip. I just felt like all these florals were perfect for the gardens, and this layout was supposed to have 3 wreaths on it, but instead I just used florals from the sticker sheet and the punch outs from that scrapbooking workshop kit. And I just think that this one came out really, really well too. You really have to be careful when you have these bold florals. You don't want them to overpower your photos. And if you notice, I even snuck in a piece of that really crazy green pattern. That was the flip side of this beautiful paper. And it just needed a little touch of the green. I felt like it pulled out the flowers, but it wasn't overwhelming. So when you're using busy papers like this, it's always great to focus on the bigger, more subtle, and then just put the touches in prominent places, touches of those busier patterns for you to enjoy. So I think it's just the right amount, the right balance for this layout. So that is the second layout that has come from the sketchbook. Now, I've got one more to show you, and I hope you like this one too. And once again, we're working with bold patterns, and I just wanted to make sense of them. So I went with a floral pattern in the background here, and this was a fun little photo shoot that we did, and I modified this sketch a bit, and I'll tell you how. Again, a sketch from the sketchbook. What I did was this layout called for just 4 3x3s over here. And of course, I wanted to put all 7 of us. So I've extended it and put 2 more 3x3s, replaced the 4x4 over here with a 3x3 of me. And the reason that I put myself here was because I was facing more in, and Jama was facing that way. So that's why I went this way. Jama went that way. I wanted us apart because we had the most vibrant colors on that particular day in the garden. And then Julie and Janice both had blue. So I wanted to kind of balance them out. And then we had a black shirt on Katie, on Chelsea, and a black jacket on Erin. And I don't know why I didn't have a headshot of Erin looking straight on, but it looks good. She's looking that way, like she's looking at the other girls. And I think it just worked well. And we had a title in the punch outs, Our Family. So I snuck in CDT using that alphabet a la mode once again, and just created my own custom little title with their pieces. Some bling. This is a strawberry slush from that In Color pack. And then I just did some of the punch outs here and there. And I just think that this whole thing came together brilliantly as well, because it was so quick and easy using that sketchbook. Even if you've got more photos, you can always adjust. Less, you can adjust. Different sizes, you can adjust. I just feel like it was just the right sketch for these photos. And I hope that you think so too. If you've not yet done so, go ahead. I'm going to link our sketchbook down below. I'm going to link the link to all of our sketchbooks down below. One link you follow and you can take a look at all of them. This, again, all of these 3 sketches came from our sketchbook, 12 by 12 sketchbook, volume 4. And I have used just one scrapbooking workshop to create all of these fabulous layouts. And I just think that they make more sense than the layouts that we had in the Memories in Bloom kit. I just think, here we go. I just feel like they're just less demanding on my eyes. There's more space for my eyes to rest and focus on the photos, because the photos are what are most important. And again, all of these came together so quickly with the sketchbook. Really, the hardest part was deciding which of the fabulous sketches to use. Can't say that enough. So if you have enjoyed this video today, please know that the other 6 design team members, creative design team members, are going to be featuring a layout from the new sketchbook all week long. And you can find that on our playlist, the Creative Design Team 2025. And we will put all of the videos there, link them all as they become available. So each day you'll be treated to a new layout out of our sketchbook. So I hope that you've been inspired today and that you liked seeing the extra layouts, because I had to share them. I'm so proud of them. If you're new to my channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. Thanks for watching and have a creative day.